Sometimes I wanna, and I will. My name is Ashley-Nicole and I am a channel for the divine. I'm actually the biblically prophesied Messiah. The Jewish culture widely awaited Moshiac. The Hindu culture prophesied Kalki. Full circle moment alert, alert. So are you. Why Ashley? What I have in me, you have in you. What you have in you, I have in me. We are all authentic frequential patternings, simultaneously one with the frequency that is the oneness of all things, or God, Allah, Shekinah, Hashem, the Most High, Prime Source, the oneness of all things. Having a human experience in order to assist with growing and evolving the oneness of all things. You are tuned into Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment. Subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. Share the content, like the content, hit the notification bell. If you find Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment is uplifting to you in any way, it's beneficial, entertaining, soul satiating, soul activating, DNA genome activating to you anyway, to help proliferate the Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment journey to a healed and balanced human culture. Now, y'all, I also have a podcast, Kingdom Things Podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips, which is linked below, available to stream for free on YouTube and Spotify. I channel many prophecies, divine wisdoms, divine chakra. By the way, I use my shaman mama capabilities, or my soul gifts, or my connection to the oneness of all things, or my extrasensory perception, or my psychic abilities, in order to connect to the oneness of all things, or the self, or my personal self. The oneness of all things, the self, my personal self, as well as you, have 0 degrees of separation in all actuality and the grander benevolence of things. We are all one. I use my shaman mama capabilities, my connection to the oneness of all things, my psychic abilities, my extrasensory perception, my soul gifts to connect, to convene with my inner space or the universes or God or the oneness of all things. In order to heal my inner space to the universe or the God or the oneness of all things. And I channel these healing energies and messages within Kingdom Things Podcast, as well as here within Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment. Now here, Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment is more of the Powwow session channel. Powwow sessions, I call, whenever I'm doing my shadow work, basically. We call it shadow work or facing ourselves. Whenever I'm doing my shadow work or I'm facing myself, I'm dipping into my inner space. I'm praying, I'm meditating in order to enlighten myself, or shine light on dimensions of myself, or become consciously aware of dimensions of myself in which I was before unconscious of, or unconscious to the fact that I was embodying certain thought patterns, belief systems, and energies in which I no longer need. Whenever we go within ourselves and we become consciously aware of paradigms, belief systems, thought patterns, energies in which we no longer need for our evolution or the makings of us, and we become consciously aware of these thought patterns, paradigms, energies. We garner the wisdoms or higher vibrational energetic embodiments in order to evolve into a more expanded consciousness, awareness of ourselves, or which is synonymous with becoming more consciously aware with which is synonymous with aligning to a more expanded conscious awareness of reality. We call this process spiritual awakening. So this is the Powwow session channel, where we, baby, the divine, the oneness of all things, ancestral forces, galactic forces, universal forces are like, hey, Ashley, look at this energy, this paradigm within humanism. And then I look at it, I do the Powwow session with my inner space, call my inner space, and I get divine wisdoms from the divine forces, again, using my shamanism. Which brings me to the Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment call to action. Sit with yourself at least 1 hour a day, every day. Ask yourself, hey soul, what is it that I need to know in this moment to become more consciously aware of my limitless potentials? Wait for the answers because they will come. I channel within Kingdom Things Podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips. Again, available to stream for free on YouTube and Spotify. I channel within the podcast. There are an infinite number of ways to perceive reality, as well as an infinite number of energies and paradigms in reality to perceive. This is in the Kingdom Things Podcast installment titled Frequential Patterning Part 1. It's linked below in the description under the Kingdom Things Podcast reference content. Also linked below under the Kingdom Things Podcast reference content is the installment of Kingdom Things Podcast Frequential Patterning Part 2. Part 1 and Part 2 are linked below. So I channeled in Frequential Patterning Part 1, Kingdom Things Podcast. There are an infinite number of energies and paradigms in reality to perceive, as well as there are an infinite number of ways to perceive the infinite number of energies and paradigms and reality to perceive. What does this mean, Ashley? This means your lingo with yourself or the oneness of all things or God, Shekinah, Hashem, or the universal forces most likely is unique to you. You know, we have the clairsenses that are common: clairaudient, clairsentient, clairvoyant, claircognizant, and there are other clairs as well. You might have or synesthesia. You most likely have a lingo with the universe that is unique to you. Nonetheless, when you ask the question, hey soul, hey self, hey oneness of all things, soul, self, oneness of all things, truly having 0 degrees of separation, what is it that I need to know in this moment to become more consciously aware of the energies, the limitless potentials in which I am? Wait for the answers because they will come. However they come, however the answers present to you, it's your authentic, intimate relationship with the oneness of all things, or yourself, or God, the divine. So as we comb our inner spaces and become more consciously aware of the paradigms in which we've held on to for millennia, as these are our ancestral energies, and we get the answers from the universal forces or the self or the inner space, when it comes to higher wisdoms, more limitless ways of doing things, more limitless energies to embody, we align with our divine presence. Which brings me to the human dharmic purpose. I channel from my soul space to the oneness of all things. It is biblical. Humanity of planet Earth, we were always intended to awaken within the dream, or awaken to our limitless potentials within the paradigm, the illusion of finite, or within our realm of reality, or within our creation called being a human being of planet Earth. We were always intended to awaken from this dream of being limited, or from these ancestral patterns that said that we were less than divine presence, in order to remember ourselves into our divine presence or our limitless potentials. The journey of remembering ourselves into our divine presence or our limitless potentials is infinite. Why? There are an infinite number of energies and paradigms in reality to perceive. And there are an infinite number of ways to perceive these infinite numbers of energies and infinite dimensions of energies and paradigms in creation. Awakening to our divine presence, our limitless potentials is a journey of infinity or eternity or existence. So beautiful. We are awakening as biblically prophesied. Some cultures call it the second coming of Christ. Some cultures call it the new world, the fifth world, a raising from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, or turning on the divine matrix being resumed. We were created to remember that we are one with all things, that we are limitless potentials. We were created to be masters of unconditional love, or the remembrance that everything in my reality is only a projection of the energies in which I am. Principle of correspondence, as below, so above. Everything in our reality is a projection of the energies in which we are. We were created to be a master of unconditional love, or using our realities, our reaction with ourselves and each other, to understand ourselves or the oneness of all things in more deep and intimate ways, in order to grow and evolve the oneness of all things and to more limitless potentials or higher vibrations. The divine, the most high, Hashem, Shekinah, the oneness of all things, prime source, Allah, God wants to see, what do we create with being switched on, turned back on, from a space where we believe we were mere mortals that were predestined for death, disease, decay, to understanding that the death, disease, and decay were a paradigms of when we were in our gestational phase, or we were being prepared in our cocoons of darkness, being prepared or mastered into energies, to remember us into energies of our limitless nature in a way that we are intended to wield our limitless potentials with responsibility, with compassion, with patience, with temperance, with the remembrance that all is one. So what we do to any one or any dimension that we perceive to be external to ourselves, we are truly doing to ourselves. So having a compassion and an unconditional love to wield our limitless potentials with benevolence in the way that we seek to uplift all things. Which brings me to the Kingdom Things Podcast 2033 Prophecy. By the year 2033, Hashem, Shekinah, Allah, the Most High God, states that we will be in a state of energetic evolution, consciousness expansion, genome DNA activation as the human culture planet Earth. By the way, energetic are the energies of our realm, our reality. The frequential patterning of the energies of our realm and our reality is has a symbiotic nature with our DNA genome activation, as well as the frequential vibrational patterning of our realm, paired with our DNA genome activation, paired with our consciousness evolution, is a symbiotic relationship. The Most High Hashem, the oneness of all things, Shekinah states by the year 2033, we will be in the energetic stream of high vibrational frequential patterning, consciousness evolution, DNA genome activation, to understand that we are a human culture of planet Earth with no disease, no death, no war, no famine, world peace, no poverty, no pedophilia, no sex trafficking, no human trafficking. As disease, death, war, famine, poverty, pedophilia, sex trafficking, human trafficking were all a part of the makings of us. We're creations that we created, we manifested when we were in our gestational phase or in the darkness, or were in the frequential patterning of our realm, the DNA activation of our realm that said that we were finite, limited, which created destitution, which created death, disease, war, famine, poverty, pedophilia, sex trafficking, human trafficking. Channeled through the heart space. Whenever creation needs something to continue to grow and evolve, it's naturally produced. In order for us to awaken and embody more of our limitless potentials, we have to lean into compassion and unconditional love for the self or all things or each other. And understand that everything that we experienced was a part of the makings of us. Why? Because when creation needs something to continue to grow and evolve, it naturally produces it. In order for us to awaken, raise into higher vibrational patterns as a culture, as a divine creation, as the oneness of all things, we have to forgive ourselves for everything that we created. We have to face ourselves or do our shadow work internally. Forgive ourselves for what we face and see within our internal environment or within our reality that's out of alignment with who we prefer to be. Forgive ourselves for the energies and paradigms and happenings and belief systems that are in our internal environment, that manifest in our physical reality, that are out of alignment with what we prefer to experience. Forgiving ourselves, no longer condemning ourselves or shaming, blaming, resenting, fearing our experiences or who we've been, in order to allow ourselves to garner the wisdoms from our experiences and who we have been, in order to raise these dense vibrations that created death, disease, war, famine, poverty, pedophilia, sex trafficking, human trafficking, into higher vibrational frequential patterning, or into divine wisdoms that'll manifest a reality with no disease, no death, no war, no famine, world peace, no poverty, no pedophilia, no sex trafficking, no human trafficking. And so it shall be, and it is done. It is done spiritually, energetically. We are in a tangible realm of reality, where we live in sequential patterning, where it takes evolution or time, as we perceive it, for these manifestations to be prevalent to the masses. That we are a human culture of planet Earth with no disease, no death, no war, no famine, world peace, no poverty, no pedophilia, no sex trafficking, no human trafficking. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, share the content to help proliferate the Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment journey to a healed and balanced human culture of planet Earth. I know y'all saw the title, y'all. This session is super powerful, as they all truly are, as they're all intended to be, as they're all of my content is intended to liberate the soul or activate us into greater remembrance that we are one with limitless potential. We are one with each other. We are one with all things. Healing our ancestral energies, patterns, or healing ancestral narcissism. We have demonized narcissism in a way that, we have demonized narcissism in a way that Some people will admit to be narcissistic. Generally, when you are truly narcissistic, you don't realize you're narcissistic. Why, Ashley? Because narcissism is an obstinate attachment to who we believe ourselves to be, in a way that we don't perceive anything or anyone outside of who we believe ourselves to be. Narcissism is a survival mechanism, or an ancestral energy, ancestral patterning that's passed down for millennia. These energies have been passed down for millennia. These are gestational phase energies and beyond. Every microcosm has a macrocosm, or evolution is evolution. Energy, principle of conservation, mechanics of principle of conservation, mechanics of thermodynamics. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, but it changes forms. Our dense gestational phase, where we forgot that we were limitless potentials, or we were in our cocoon, we were being swaddled or gestated by healing, we were being swaddled or gestated by ancestral narcissism. I'm looking at my channel notes, y'all. I'm looking at my channel notes over here. So I, hit every point. When we were in our gestational phase, in the darkness, to heighten amnesia, to the remembrance that we are one with all things, or we were we were swaddled in our cocoon, stricken with amnesia, forgetfulness that we are one with all things, or limitless potentials of the divine. This was a survival mechanism. Narcissism, or an obstinate attachment to who we believe we are, to our perception of ourselves and of reality, in the way that we can't perceive past who we believe ourselves to be, or the projection of who we perceive ourselves to be in our reality. So we perceive everyone in our reality to be the energies of who we believe ourselves to be, or we perceive everyone in our reality as our ancestral energies. And a lot of the times we take offense to this, i.e. the origins of the term narcissism, where we believe these traits of having an obstinate perception and attachment to who we believe we are. We take this we take it as an offensive thing, that the person whom displays narcissistic traits is just so into themselves that they don't see anything but themselves. It is a survival mechanism. And this is a paradigm of understanding that I'm offering to the planet in order to allow healing of our human nature. What did I channel earlier? There are an infinite number of ways to perceive reality. And there are an infinite number of energies and reality to perceive. Whatever resonates with your heart space, please take it. Whatever doesn't, you may leave it. Narcissism being an obstinate attachment to who we believe we are. And who we believe we are formulates our perspective of reality. Everything in our reality. Taking offense to the traits of narcissism is mirroring the traits of narcissism, where we believe this person is acting in a way that is a narcissistic tendency. A person that demonstrates narcissistic tendencies is acting in a way that is subpar or malevolent, as we typically have a negative connotation when it comes to the term narcissism. It is a narcissistic trait in itself. The divine told me, hey, Ashley, baby, you don't know what I'm creating. Creation is infinite. Every person, every season, every way that we show up is needed for the evolution of all things. I channeled a song. I'm also a singer-songwriter. My music, Ashley-Nicole Music, is streaming on YouTube. It's linked below. Subscribe to the channel. I channeled a song called You Were Always Infinite Creation. Any given moment, any given season, any given reason that I am I channeled this song because I was upset. I was triggered. I was pissed off. And, you know, in spirituality, it's, you know, there's paradigms that we've lived with for millennia, where we feel like spiritualists are all love and light or all happiness, and negative thoughts and negative beliefs, just ignore them or disassociate with them. That's not who you are. But everything that we perceive and think in our inner space, everything that we perceive in our external environment is one with ourselves. We're one with all things. Every way that we show up in our realities is necessary for the evolution of all things. I was triggered. I was upset. And I was like, hey, soul, I'm really upset right now. I want to transmute these energies into an enlightening, uplifting creation. So I channeled the song, You Are Always Infinite Creation. It's not about running from how we feel. It's about deep diving into how we feel in any given moment, any given season. Sometimes I wanna, and I remember I said, sometimes I wanna, like sometimes I wanna baby, I wanna fight. That is I wanna fight something, someone. Sometimes I wanna, and I remember everything that I feel is to uplift home. Everything that I deal with, I'm never alone. I am who I am to uplift who I am. Any given moment, any given season, any given reason that I am. Every way that every individual, every being, every dimension of creation shows up in every given moment is necessary, is a masterful, omnificent, divine blueprint to grow and evolve infinite creation into more high vibrational frequencies, more unity, more love, unconditional love, more wellness, more infinite potentials. That narcissistic person, that narcissistic tendency within yourself where you are stuck in the patterns of belief systems of yourself and what reality is in a way that you don't perceive past who you believe yourself to be, who you perceive reality to be, as ourselves and reality are truly infinite. It is a survival mechanism that we no longer need. We are the age of unconditional love, where we are awakening to our limitless potentials. We're deep diving into our chest cavities, our emotions. We're feeling our emotions in prayer and meditation in order to be high vibrational frequencies, in order to embody the high vibrational frequencies or the divine wisdoms in which we are, and greater quotients, to show up as the high vibrational wisdoms in which we are, to be in wellness, happiness, balance, and joy, because that is what we were created to be. Not only were we created to be limitless potentials in the tangible, we were created to journey our evolution of becoming more consciously aware of our limitless potentials with wellness, balance, and joy. We no longer need to survive. But look at this, y'all. I'm going to channel below the Kingdom Things podcast installment, Origin of the Divine Humans Are Now, as well as the Kingdom Things podcast live World Powwow session. Subscribe to Kingdom Things podcast on YouTube. Follow Kingdom Things podcast on Spotify to join the Kingdom Things podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips, Journey to a Healed and Balanced Human Culture of Planet Earth. I'm gonna link the Kingdom Things podcast episode below, titled The Origins of the Divine Human Are Now. I was sharing the story about how I was healing with the ancestral forces, Tahuti, Mother Mary, Rabbi Yeshua, Moses. I was channeling them in the Kingdom Things podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips live group powwow session. We go live on YouTube, so again, subscribe on YouTube to the podcast. Link below. And we have and had an ancestral patterning of understanding about our divinity, that somehow our humanism wasn't compatible with our divinity. That we had to purge ourselves of our humanism in order to become more divine, less nefesh or less creature-like. Nefesh is a Hebrew term for a creature. We had to become less nefesh or less creature-like to embody more of our light, to embody more of our garb of light or our divine presence or our limitless potentials. And this was a galactic creation understanding, not just a human being of planet Earth understanding. The galactic creation, and I speak about it in the origins of the divine human are now, again, linked below. The galactic creation ensued because what? Whenever creation needs something to continue to grow and evolve, it naturally produces it. At the beginning of space and time, or the beginning, which is space and time, is synonymous with the galactic creation. At the beginning of space and time, 6 spheres of creation came together to create a more omnipotent, limitless, boundless, unconditionally loving, balanced energy. Now in Kabbalah, Judaism, it's stated 7 spheres of creation came together. I channeled in the podcast, Kingdom Things podcast. I channeled in the podcast that it was 6 spheres of creation in the podcast installment titled In Plain Sight, Kingdom Things podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips, In Plain Sight, which is linked below in the Kingdom Things podcast reference content. I channeled 6 spheres of creation. Hashem, the divine Shekinah, said, hey, Ashley, just understand that you came from spheres of creation. The energy in which manifests Ashley-Nicole Phillips, the energy in which manifests whatever your name is, who you are, stems from the 6 spheres of creation coming together at the beginning of space and time in order to create a more benevolent, omnipotent, balanced, well, unconditionally loving, united energy. When these 6 spheres of creation came together, chaos ensued. And what? Whenever creation needs something to continue to grow and evolve, it naturally produces it. Galactic creation, or space and time, came into fruition in order to assist with balancing out this omnipotent, divine presence energy that was in chaos. Okay. So I was saying we have to deep dive into our emotion, our chest cavities, feel our emotions in order to meet ourselves, face ourselves. So our obstinate attachment, I channeled in the origin of the divine humans are now big boot ancestors. I call them big boot ancestors because they're universal ancestral forces that came from beyond space and time, beyond the galactic creation to assist with uplifting galactic creation. I was doing the live powwow session, live world powwow session, Kingdom Things podcast. I channel the ancestral forces, and thank you, ancestral forces. Mother Mary, Tahuti, Rabbi Yeshua, Moses. And they were, assisting with healing the human DNA, human genetics, activating the human DNA through myself, where we were doing shadow work to alchemize an uplifted, energetic embodiment of the human DNA. And baby, I was down for the count, baby. That the whole group powwow session, you can go watch it now. I started not to, baby, make it public. But Mother Mary, baby, strict instructions. She said, Ashley will post and make this session live, available for everyone to see. So I already knew, baby, she already saw into the future. She knew I did not want to, baby, make this live. Because she knew, Mother Mary knew I didn't want to make it public for everybody to see, keep it public. Because I was boohoo crying the whole way through. It was a real healing session, y'all. Baby, wounded healers. All of humanity, we're all wounded healers, baby. We was in this gestational sack with death, disease, war, famine, poverty. And everything that we learned, all the wisdoms that we garnered from everything that we felt and everything we experienced in our ancestry and our immediate reality, all the pain, all the things, it always was intended to be wisdom and power and potential to evolve, human nature, synonymously, the oneness of all things, or God's creation, into more wellness, balance, unity, and regeneration. So I was healing, baby, with the ancestral forces, the big boot ancestral forces of our humanic lineage, which are one with the big boot. We are one with the big boot ancestral forces from beyond galactic creation. I was healing, baby, crying. You can go watch the now, it's linked below. I was crying, baby, boot, it's not all the things. And I had to, baby, after the session, I had to lay down and take a break for like 15 minutes. And the ancestors were like, you know, we got more healing to do. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, ooh, baby. I was like, I was like, whoa. So I walked outside. I had to go take a break. I walked into my front yard, and baby, that big boot ancestors from beyond the galactic creation, they came to talk to me and the big boot ancestors of our humanic lineage. And they're like, whoa, 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 what are you doing here? She doesn't need to purge herself. She needs to accept herself. You, Ashley, and every other being in galactic creation, you need to accept yourselves and stop trying to change yourself and each other in order to garner the wisdom and enlightenment from your self-acceptance, your self-love, in order to raise the vibration of yourself in all things, to be given enlightenment, or about the Satori, or rapid, spontaneous spiritual awakenings, where you're enlightened to more of your limitless nature through self-acceptance, unconditional love, and not trying to disassociate with the different dimensions of yourself or fragment yourself by saying, oh, this is not me, or I don't want this to be me, or I need to purge this part because it's not worthy. Instead of trying to push parts of yourself away or purge, it's becoming closer to the self, pulling in closer to the self, pulling everything closer into yourself by deep diving into your inner space and feeling your emotions and being through your emotions to garner the wisdoms of how you feel, of your feelings, or the energetic embodiment in which you are, in which we are. We repeated ancestral energetic patterns to perpetuate the illusion of survival. We are limitless. We are in a limitless creation called the divine Shekinah Hashem God. Having a human experience. So having the experience of finite or dimensionality or form, infinite potentials with the illusion of finite or dimensionality or form, in order to help grow and evolve, organize, balance infinite potentials. We repeated ancestral energetic patterns to perpetuate the illusion of survival. So, you know, our survival consciousness is like, we'll repeat the same things over and over again, because I know if I do this, I'm going to survive at least. Which is an illusion. Why? Because we decayed and died. Whenever we're in survival consciousness, we are separated from many dimensions of ourselves. So we're fragmented, or we disassociate with many dimensions of ourselves, or we only perceive ourselves through our ancestral understandings of ourselves and reality, which is a limited perception. We were created to continue to perpetually grow and evolve into more limitless potentials, limitless embodiments of our divine wisdoms. And you can only do that by we're learning a new way to do it. Self-acceptance to be gifted understandings of ourselves through having a genuine inquisitive disposition about who we are and what reality is, journeying life like Psychonauts. Psychonauts is a game where you traverse different states of consciousness by asking yourself the inquisitive questions about, why is this in my reality? Why am I showing up like this? What is this? What is this? What is that? And waiting for your soul, or the oneness of all things in the universe, or the universe to gift you the answers in order for you to evolve your consciousness or embody higher vibrational frequential patternings, to no longer have to repeat, to no longer fear evolution or change. The repeating ancestral energetic patterns perpetuated the illusion of survival because we feared change. We feared differences. So we only allowed ourselves to perceive ourselves how we perceived ourselves, or the way our ancestors perceived ourselves, or what was the right thing to do. What is the right way to do things? What are the traditional ways to do things? What are the just way to do things? These narcissistic paradigms where the thought that there is a right way, there is a just way, there is a traditional way that we're supposed to stick to. Our limiting beliefs or perceptions that we held on tight to, which perpetuated survival consciousness or lack mentality, that we have to stay this way in order to survive, which is attached to the way that we made money, and the way that we do capitalism and exchange and barter goods, which capitalism, money, bartering goods has been in creation beyond the beginning of space and time or galactic creation. We're no longer demonized in the makings of ourselves, but we're pulling ourselves closer, or we're owning ourselves, or dropping into our inner space to fill our way through the evolution of ourselves, to evolve capitalism, to evolve capitalism, the way we do money, the way we do bartering and exchanging, bartering and exchanges into a more high vibrational or expansive, limitless paradigms of existence. Which brings me to the Kardashian scale prophecy. The divine says we will be a type 1, type 2, type 3 Kardashian scale civilization within 10 years. Y'all, I know. You might be asking like, hey, Ashley, how are we going to do this? If you know what the Kardashian scale is. If you don't know what the Kardashian scale is, the Kardashian scale was channeled through and by the astronomer Kardashian, where he stated the scale states or represents the evolution of a galactic colony based off of, or a galactic civilization based off of the amount of its own energy in which the galactic civilization is able to utilize towards the galactic civilization's evolution or existence. The divine says, the Galactic Federation, the oneness of all things, says ancestral forces that are timekeepers. They are space and time. They are the simulation. Say, hey, you're going to be there. They are the energies of the simulation of our existence. Say, hey, humans of planet Earth, you are going to be a type humankind. Humans of planet Earth, you are going to be a type 1, type 2, type 3 Kardashian scale civilization in 10 years. How, Ashley? How are we going to do this? It already exists. It already is. We are on a multidimensional, limitless. We are on a multidimensional. We are within one with a multidimensional, limitless realm called planet Earth, where there are countless high vibrational, consciousness expanded civilizations, cultures, beings that we co-create with, mostly unconsciously. We had our meetings in the U.S. congressional hearings where it was made public that departments in our U.S. government have been co-creating with multidimensional beings for decades. This has actually never not been. We've always been co-creating with multidimensional, interdimensional, extraterrestrial, ET, alien beings, or beings beyond our current civilization's consciousness expansion, consciousness state, consciousness awareness state understanding. This has always been the case. And they've always been helping us grow and evolve into who we were created to be. It's now been revealed to the ethers, to the oneness of all things. We were created to be limitless potentials, with the mastery of unconditional love, or the master remembrance that all is one. The divine wants to see, what do we create? We know no death, no disease, no war, no ephemeral peace, no poverty, no pedophilia, no sex trafficking, no human trafficking. Kardashian scale type 1, type 2, type 3 civilization. And by the year 2033. By the year 2033 for the no death, no disease, no war, no ephemeral peace, no poverty, 2033. Kardashian scale type 1, type 2, type 3 within 10 years. That's a newer prophecy. I got the no death, no disease, no war, no ephemeral peace, no poverty, no pedophilia, no sex trafficking, no human trafficking in 2023. So 2033. The Kardashian scale type 1, type 2, type 3. That's a 10-year prophecy. It was 1,000 years, and then the divines, and the timekeepers and the energies of creation universes are like, hey, y'all gonna be there a lot quicker. Because the way we do time is our paradigm of understanding, and it will continue to evolve. As you expand your consciousness, you have the understanding you can step outside of space and time. Or you can shift into energies that are evolved past space and time, or high vibrational frequential patternings that are evolved past space and time to do what? Embody the energies to become a master manifester, where you're able to shift and shape yourself in reality in a quantum way, or a way that supersedes time and space. We're all awakening to our ability to do this, or our limitless potentials, which supersede our ancestral energetic patternings of survival, or our ancestral narcissism. We have the Anunnaki of Nibiru. I channeled that. I know we get into it. It's in my notes. We got to go ahead and hit it. Okay. Go get some, baby. Go pause the video. Get some snacks, some water, so maybe some fruit juice, agua fresca, baby. Because we're gonna be here for a few more minutes. Okay, y'all. You see the time on the video. We got some other goodies, some good treats to roll into. Asia's animated series. We're gonna do a couple of those installments. We got an episode of Kingdom Things podcast we're gonna roll into. Go get some pause it. Go get some water. I know we're gonna be here for a minute, but it's okay because we're enjoying ourselves. We're remembering, baby, our heightened wisdoms. So I channel with them through my soul space, through the oneness of all things. It's within the Kingdom Things podcast. I'll link it below. The Kingdom Things podcast installment. The Kingdom Things podcast installment. I'll link Ways of Creation, and then the following installment. I know Anunnaki's in the title of the installment. I don't remember the exact Kingdom Things podcast installment title, but in these installments, I channeled, firstly, the different dimensions of the makings of us, the evolution of the modern day human being of this ascension cycle, the makings of us, as well as the revelation that through every timeline outcome, or every parallel universe, or every potential timeline of existence, and which went into the co-creation of the modern day human being of this ascension cycle's creation. The Anunnaki of Nibiru landed in Sumer, Mesopotamia, and indoctrinated the ancient Sumer Mesopotamia civilization with 12-strand DNA. And the rhetoric in the masses is that there's an understanding that the Anunnaki of Nibiru unplugged the 12th strand. But the truth is, I channel from my soul space. Take what resonates with your heart space, leave what doesn't. The truth that I channel is that the Anunnaki of Nibiru didn't unplug the 12-strand DNA, or the divine DNA, or the multidimensional DNA of our genome, but they gave us divine DNA, 12-strand DNA. And as we grew and evolve, or experience or generations of life, millennia, years of life and existence, we would eventually garner the evolution, the wisdoms, the consciousness expansion, the spiritual evolution, consciousness expansion, to where the 12-strand DNA, or the multidimensional DNA, or the divine DNA would turn on through the higher vibrational existence, or the higher consciousness existence, or the heightened spiritual awareness, or spiritual evolution. The Anunnaki and Nibiru and ancient Sumer Mesopotamia didn't unplug the 12-strand DNA. They said, hey, Ashley, we gave y'all the 12-strand DNA. And as you evolved and grew as a civilization, there would be a time and space where the energy and divine alignment, universal alignment would be prime to activate the 12-strand DNA, where human being of planet Earth of this ascension cycle would experience a mass spiritual awakening to the remembrance that we're one with the divine. We're one with limitless potentials. We're one with all things. This is that time. This is that time. We no longer have to perpetuate our ancestral energies, or our ancestral narcissistic survival mechanism, where we only perceive ourselves in a certain way. And we only perceive reality in a certain way. And this is all there is. There's nothing else. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see anything else. This is all there is. This is the way I like it. This is the way I do things. This is the way my mother did things. This is the way my grandmother did things. This is the way my great-grandmother did things. I don't want to see any other way. We no longer have to have that narcissistic survival mechanism. We can remember that we're divine potentials. It's safe to remember that we're limitless potentials, that we're one with all things. No longer perpetuating the cycle of spiritual stagnation, spiritual evolution stagnation, but allowing ourselves to journey our reality like psychonauts, or being inquisitive about ourselves And the fact that we're limitless and learning about ourselves and growing into more energetic embodiment, divine wisdom embodiment of our limitless nature by, again, asking ourselves, hey, this my reality. What is this teaching me about myself? What is this feeling? I'm feeling something. I remember I was walking doing a powwow session in the morning with myself, and like I was feeling angry. I felt like it was anger. The ancestral force that I was tuned in with at the time when I was walking, they were like, hey, Ashley, you're more intelligent than this. You're not angry. What are you? You're feeling. So whenever we're feeling something, we drop into our heart space and we become inquisitive. We remain a void. Hashem, the Most High, the Oneness of all things, says, Ashley, when you're feeling things, don't try to perpetuate old patterns or your narcissistic survival mechanism to control reality, to perpetuate what you've always only experienced. But become a void. Feel through your way. Allow the energies to pass through. And then allow the new divine wisdoms to be presented to you. Allow new understandings of what these energies mean. Allow them to be presented to you. Instead of perpetuating old thought patterns or your narcissistic survival mechanism. Whenever we're stuck in paradigms and a belief system, we can only project or manifest energies and lives and embodiments of ourselves that correlate to those narcissistic belief systems or those obstinate attachment to belief systems. We no longer have to perpetuate the cycles of spiritual evolution, stagnation of the human genome, human consciousness, human energetic embodiment, our genome, our consciousness, our energetic embodiment, vibrational frequential patterning, are synonymous symbiotic creations, mechanisms, operations. Again, narcissism is the obstinate attachment to perception of self or ancestral energies or limiting beliefs. We no longer need to do it. We're actually going to roll into an episode of Kingdom Things podcast. It's called Redemption Part 1. Redemption Part 1. There is a Redemption Part 2, and I'm working on editing Redemption Part 3. The Redemption Part 2, Redemption Part 3 are linked below in the reference content, Kingdom Things podcast reference content in the description box below. If you're super early on the Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment drops, I'm still editing Redemption Part 3 if it's not there. Come back, check later, or subscribe to Kingdom Things podcast on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when Redemption Part 3 is published. Again, Kingdom Things podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips is also available to stream for free on Spotify. Follow on Spotify to join the Kingdom Things podcast with Ashley-Nicole Phillips, journey to a healed and balanced human culture of planet Earth. Let's go ahead and roll into redemption. Hey y'all, to those that will be watching this broadcast at a later date and time. My name is Ashley-Nicole Phillips, and just like you, I'm a dimension and aspect of God, the Most High Creator energy. Now, within Kingdom Things podcast, Within Kingdom Things podcast, I published and publish the energies and messages in which have assisted me that I channeled from all of creation from God. The energies and messages that I channeled from all of creation, all of God, which assisted me with, I channel from my soul. So the energies and messages in which I channel from my soul's knowing, my soul's understandings, I publish within the Kingdom Things podcast, intuitively guided. And these energies and messages in which I channel from my soul's knowing is assisting me with coming into further alignment with my God, Goddess essence, my universal presence, my divine energy. You're more than welcome to utilize the content within Kingdom Things podcast to assist yourself on your own journey of aligning to your universal presence, aligning to God, aligning to all of creation. Like I said, within Kingdom Things podcast, I channel energies and messages. I'm super excited on this Kingdom Things podcast. We will be getting a sermon from Rabbi Yeshua. Most notably known as Jesus. But Jesus is so adamant to be reestablished in our domain of understanding that he was and is a stewardess for the Creator, a stewardess for the universal God, a stewardess for all of creation. Jesus, Rabbi Yeshua is so adamant for us to reestablish the understanding that Rabbi Yeshua, or most notably known as Jesus, was and is a stewardess for the divine presence, for the universal presence, for the Most High Creator energy. So on this Kingdom Things podcast titled Graduation from Revelations, we will be getting a channeled sermon from Rabbi Yeshua. I'm myself, Ashley-Nicole Phillips. I will be a preface to Rabbi Yeshua's sermon, which I'm excited for. This is the way we ball. This is the way we ball. This is the way we ball. Ooh, we ball. As a Semitic common noun, ball, Hebrew, Baal, meant owner or lord. This is the way we ball. As a Semitic common noun, Baal, Hebrew, Baal meant owner or lord. This is the way we ball. As a Semitic common noun, Baal, Hebrew, Baal meant owner or lord. And excuse me for mispronouncing Baal in Hebrew. Meant owner or lord. Although it could be used more generally, for example, a ball of wings was a winged creature, and in the plural, balim of arrows indicated archers. This is the way we ball, meaning lord or owner. Ball, meaning lord or owner. Ball, meaning lord or owner. The God in which we have been programmed to worship, that we have been worshiping, the God that we have been worshiping for many millennia, is the God in which is Rabbi Yeshua wants to be referred to as the local God. Rabbi Yeshua wants me to refer to the God in which we have been worshiping for many millennia as the local God. Rabbi Yeshua is adamant about the realignment of the understanding of what and who Rabbi Yeshua stood for and is. Rabbi Yeshua is adamant about realignment of what and who Rabbi Yeshua stood for and who Rabbi Yeshua is. Rabbi Yeshua is adamant about the realignment of the understanding of who Rabbi Yeshua is and what Rabbi Yeshua stood and stands for. This is the way we ball. The God in which Rabbi Yeshua was birthed into, the understanding of God in which Rabbi Yeshua was birthed into, was a local God. The God that was concerned with local desires, local understandings, local operations. This is the way we ball. Rabbi Yeshua was born into a society, into a programming, into a human culture of planet Earth in which was focused on day-to-day concerns. And as the human culture was focused on day-to-day concerns, the human culture manifested a God in which served our day-to-day pleasures, but a God in which was a local God, as this God did not have the reach, the understanding of infinite creation or the universal presence. The God in which we have been serving, the God in which we have been worshiping, this is the way we ball, is a God in which serves our day-to-day pleasure, a God in which focuses on our planetary needs. This is the way we ball. The culture in which we have cultivated and created and manifested and perpetuated within our human culture over the last few millennia is a culture of an incubus, succubus dynamic. The culture in which we have perpetuated and manifested within the last few millennia is a culture of an incubus, succubus dynamic. Ashley, what do you mean? Incubus, succubus is understood as, and I'm reading this from a website. Incubus, succubus is understood as a Lilin demon in female form or supernatural entity that appears in dreams to seduce men, usually through sexual activity. The description of the same can be traced back to the folklore of medieval times. The male equivalent of this is known as incubus. The incubus, succubus thrives off of a dynamic where the incubus, succubus feeds off of the sleeping. The incubus, succubus feeds off of the sleeping. The incubus, succubus feeds off of the sleeping. This is the way we ball. As we were focused on our day-to-day mundane activity and personal desires, we came out of alignment. We fell out of alignment with the divine alignment, divine understandings that our desires are not separate from universal activity. But as we focus on our desire, our scope is narrowed in on our desire. We can no longer see or perceive the greater understanding of the greater operation or the universal presence, the universal God. Incubus, succubus feeds off of the sleeping. We have been asleep. Dear human beings of planet Earth, we have been asleep. We have been asleep as we have been out of alignment with the universal presence. This is the way we balled. This is the way we balled. This is the way we balled as we have focused on our personal desires, our personal understandings of who we are, where we are. We have fell out of alignment with universal presence, universal God. This is the way we balled. The perpetual ideology of separation is a perpetual ideology that stems from the narrow scope and narrow understandings of what is. This is the way we ball. This is the way we ball. As we focus on our day-to-day understandings of who we are, our day-to-day desires, we are no longer in alignment with all that is. With all that is, or the universal presence, the universal God. We have been asleep. We have been asleep. And we have been thriving, living out of alignment. So we're not operating off of our divine presence, our universal presence. The energy flowing through us was not our divine presence, our universal presence. The gasoline, the power flowing through us wasn't our divine presence, our universal presence. It was the energies in which we suck from each other as we have created and lived through and of parasitical dynamics, as we have lived through and of trauma bonds. We have lived through and of trauma bonds. Our relationship with ourselves is our relationship with God. Our relationship with ourselves is our relationship with God. Our relationships with ourselves is our relationship with God. You go to the Holy Bible and it seems that like God is reprimanding us. It seems that like God does not see us worthy of God's presence. You go to the Holy Bible and it feels as though the rhetoric, the connotation is as if we are not worthy of God's presence. You go to the Bible and the energy, the rhetoric of the Bible, Holy Bible, it seems as though we are not worthy of God's presence. This is the way we fall. As we fell out of alignment with God's greater understanding of who God is, as we fell out of alignment with universal truth, our divine truths, we fell out of alignment with our divine relationship with ourselves. Our relationships with ourselves is our relationship with God. Our relationship with ourselves is our relationship with God. The way we wrote and channeled God through the Holy Bible, through the times of the Holy Bible, through the times of the Holy Bible, through the times of the Holy Bible, was God speaking through us. But we have to understand the way God spoke to us is likened to the way we speak to ourselves. The way God spoke to us is likened to the way we speak to ourselves. The way God spoke to us is likened to the way we speak to ourselves. God can only relate to us as far as we relate with ourselves. God can only relate with us as far as we relate to ourselves. God can only relate with us as far as we relate to ourselves. God says, Daddy's home. God says, Daddy's home. Daddy said, God says, God says, God says, go within and make that bond, make that relationship with yourself, because I'm inside of you. I'm inside of you. This is the way we ball. The God in which we have worshipped for the last few millennia is a God in which thrives off of idolatry. The God in which we have worshipped for the last few millennia is a God that says, worship me, worship me, worship me. The universal God does not want to be worshipped. This is the way we've balled. Baal wants to be worshipped. That manifestation, that God, Baal wants to be worshipped, admired, loved, revered. As Baal, that manifestation, the mirror of who we are, the parasitic relationship that we have with ourselves and with each other and with God, in which we praise God and God shuns us. We had a relationship for the last few millennia where we praised God and God shuns us. We were waiting for God to come home. We were waiting for God to come save us. We praised God, but God shuns us. This is the relationship we have with ourselves. God can only relate to us as far as we relate with ourselves. God can only relate with us as far as we relate to ourselves. God can only relate with us as far as we relate to ourselves. We shunned ourselves. We ran from ourselves. Why? Our truest truth is universal presence. Our truest truth is universal presence, but we narrowed in on our day-to-day, where our food's coming from, who has my land, where can I buy land? And as we focused in on this day-to-day mundane circumstances and concerns, we shunned our Creator. We shunned the universal presence. We shunned ourselves. This is the way we balled. God, the universal presence, doesn't do it for the honor mentions. God says, and this is what universal presence doesn't do it for the honor mentions. God does it for the glory. Universal presence does it for the glory. Universal presence does it for the glory. Universal presence does it for the glory. High renown or honor won by notable achievements. High renown or honor won by notable achievements. Universal presence doesn't do it for the honor mentions. Universal presence does not want to be praised. Universal presence does not want to be praised. Your relationship with yourself is your relationship with universal presence. And your relationship with universal presence, or God, universal God, is how you create your reality, how we create creation, how we assist with manifesting God or creation. I'm going to go ahead and sit back, and Rabbi Yeshua is going to channel through myself. Ooh, let me breathe and get a sip of water. Let me breathe and get a sip of water. Let me breathe and get a sip of water. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Breathe, 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 breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. We are learning through creation. We are learning through creation. We are learning through creation. I spoke with Ashley as Ashley was on her walk back to set up and conduct this sermon, assist with conducting this sermon. And Ashley was feeling what I was feeling, what I am feeling, as I have energies. I have to be honest. I have energies of redemption. I want to be redeemed. I want to be redeemed. That in which I assisted with creating. That in which my name has been used to perpetuate. That in which the human culture has aligned with is that in which I ran from when I was alive as Rabbi Yeshua. I ran from that in which I helped create after transcending this reality. Me, Lord. Me, Lord. Me, Lord. I was a servant. I am a servant to thee, Lord, the one and only presence, a one and only presence that is the multitude, the plethora of understanding and dimensions of existence. Me, Lord. I ran for myself into my flock as I ran from the energies within me that wanted to be Lord. As the energies of the Most High Divine Creator pulsated through myself as I was a stewardess to the Most High Creator, I wanted to be Lord. There were energies within me, if I'm being honest, that wanted to be Lord, wanted to act and be as Lord. But me, Lord, I had the understanding. I knew that what I was only a dimension and aspect of the Creator, of a Creator that spanned far beyond this earth. I was born into Judaism. I was a Jewish priest. I was a rabbi. And the Semitic understandings that I was born into were understandings that were in a box that I was tasked to not only break out of, but also preach the words of the energies in which I found outside of the box. Where does anti-Semitism stem from? Where does anti-Semitism stem from? Anti-Semitism stems from our own hate of self. Anti-Semitism stems from, is a mirror to our own hate of self as we, the Jewish people of planet Earth, reinforced our box as we dwell within the box of conformity, the box of the local God, the box of local presence. Where does anti-Semitism stem from? Anti-Semitism is a mirror of the hate that we have for ourselves as we run from our universal presence, our universal truth. The power, the energy, the force of God stems far beyond planetary bounds, far beyond planetary needs, far beyond planetary understandings, far beyond planetary desires. Where does anti-Semitism stem from? It is a mirror to the hate that we hold for ourselves as we do not allow ourselves to traverse outside of the box of the understandings in which we have gleaned within the local God, local understandings, local manifestations of creation. Kabbalah is the mystic version of Judaism. We term Kabbalah as a mystic form of Judaism, as Kabbalah traverses the energies and spirits and knowings outside of the box of Judaism, of the Levites. I ran for myself. I ran from myself, and I assisted and created the parasitic dynamic in which humans perpetuate and manifested over the last few millennia. I ran from myself. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. My execution was of my own creation. My execution was of my own creation. How far could I go? 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 I wanted to be the savior. I wanted to save everyone. I wanted to save everyone. I wanted to save everyone. I now know that. And I preached this, but did I live it? I preached this, but did I live it? I preached this, but did I live it? God is within. The universal presence is within. And as you align with your universal presence within, you align with God's universal plan. God's universal plan not only fulfills planetary needs, God's universal plans fulfills the needs and desires of God, fulfills the needs and desires of yourself, as yourself is a relationship with God. And as you cultivate that relationship with yourself by going within, by treating yourself as you want your greatest lover to treat you, by treating yourself the way in which you want your greatest lover to treat you, by treating yourself the way in which you want your greatest lover to treat you, you are treating God as God intended for God to be treated, as God intended for you to be treated, as you are a dimension and aspect of God. I preach this, but did I live it? I preach this, but did I live it? I preach this, but did I live it? Redemption, redemption, redemption. I want to be redeemed. But this would be me perpetuating the idolatry in which I ran from. It's not my plan. It's God's plan. The universal God's plan. It's not my plan. It's God's plan. The universal God's plan. It's not my plan. It's God's plan. The universal God's plan. Universal understanding is that there are ups and downs throughout creation, just as when a child is birthed into this realm of creation, the womb, the cervix contracts in order to bring life into creation. In order for creation to create, there are ups and downs. It's not my plan, it's God's plan. But if I were to have left anything behind, it would be the understanding that our local concerns are in alignment with the universal concerns, and the universal concerns are in alignment with all that is. Not to narrow your scope of who you are as a depiction of who this planet says you are, but allowing yourself to journey within and treat yourself the way in which you want your greatest lover to treat you in order for you to come into alignment with the universal presence. Thank you, Ashley. Give me a second, y'all. This whole day is a whole thing for me, so give me a second. Ooh. I do it for the glory, not the honor mentions. God says, I do it for the glory, not the honor mentions. Glory, high renown, or honor won by notable achievements. We're going to close out this Kingdom Things podcast with God is channeling a book through me. Universal presence, universal God is channeling a book through myself. I'm going to read an excerpt from the book that God wants me to read on this sermon, to close out this sermon. Okay, we'll start there. We'll start there. Just the whole thing. Okay. All right, I'm not going to read the title of the book. I'm just going to read the what God's channeled through me so thus far. Universal presence, or God, universal God, I channeled this to myself. I'm going to go ahead and read it. I'm nervous, but it's not about me. but I'm nervous. Okay, here we go. I am not, let me breathe. I am not writing this book, this letter, from some faraway, unattainable space apart from where you reside. I am you as you are me. A blindfold has been casted over your senses in which stopped you in many ways from perceiving the truth of who and what you are. Like a parent watching their children play in the backyard from a window just above the kitchen sink. I have been watching. I have been patiently waiting for the appropriate time to call you humanity inside for supper. The first supper. Won't you all come on in? Firstly, we want to start by saying I'm sorry. And not a sorry of sorrow, but an apology for the misunderstanding in which you have endured, as you dear ones have been misled in the way in which you perceive your dark days. You have also been misled in the ways in which you perceive your light. Dear ones, my sweet children, your light is just as damaging as your darkness without the balancing dimensions of your darkness. Just as absolute terror can be created in the darkness without the harmony created by the light meeting with the darkness. You cannot have the left without the right. Just as you cannot be a balanced or whole being without the acceptance of your light as well as your darkness. The holy texts and scriptures in which you have followed were and are purposeful, my dear ones. The holy texts and scriptures in which you have followed were and are purposeful, my dear ones. The holy texts and scriptures in which you have followed were and are purposeful, my dear ones. As everything in and of my existence, as everything is of my existence, has been and is purposeful. You are a part of a grand and masterful plan. I'm being guided to read that again. The holy texts and scriptures in which you have followed were and are purposeful, my dear ones. As everything in and of my existence, as everything is of my existence, has been and is purposeful. You are a part of a grand and masterful plan, one in which the person sitting or standing to the left of you is in no way a more important part of the plan than yourself or the person sitting or standing to the right of you. You see, we, or unconditional love, are all facets of the same creation. Facets in which the whole would be without use, without the most miniaturized fraction of the whole. What am I saying? What are we saying? You are important and powerful. You are important and powerful. You are important and powerful. You, dear ones, wait for your time to visit a place or meet a person outside of yourself to bring you joy. Did you know you reside within and of what you refer to as heaven? As you are heaven, as you are heaven. Your realities do not look the same in all actuality because, dear ones, you are not the same. Your realities do not look the same In all actuality, dear ones, you are not the same. Your realities do not look the same. Because in all actuality, dear ones, you are not the same. This is by design. This is by design. This is by design. With focusing on your piece of the puzzle, you are in divine alignment. With focusing on your piece of the puzzle, you are in divine alignment. With focusing on your piece of the puzzle, you are in divine alignment, or in alignment with the grand design. What will come of the master plan? No more illusions. Creation composed of realities. Realities no longer infested with illusions. You, we are worthy of the real thing. Unconditional love. Real love. I want to thank you watching live, as well as everyone whom will be watching this Kingdom Things podcast at a later time, for joining this Kingdom Things podcast, for joining Infinite Creation, for joining all that there is. You are worthy. We are worthy. You are worthy. We are worthy. It's time that we change the way that we relate with ourselves in order to be able to tap into a greater relationship with universal presence, or God, universal God. Again, my name is Ashley-Nicole Phillips. Kingdom Things Podcast is available. Kingdom Things Podcast, where I stream the energies and messages in which I amalgamate from my soul's knowing. May I forever be a student of creation. May I forever be a student of creation. May I forever be a student of creation. The energies and messages in which I publish from my soul's knowings from Infinite Creation, I publish within the Kingdom Things Podcast. Again, you're more than welcome to align with any energies and messages within Kingdom Things Podcast that resonate with your heart space in order to assist you on your own journey of being a student of creation, being a student of yourself, being a student of yourself, being a student of yourself. I love you. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love, because the way we love on ourselves is the way God's able to love on us, the way we're able to perceive the love that God has always been. Self-love is the best love, because you have to love yourself in the way in which you want your reality to love you back. Self-love is the best love, because in your truest truths, you are love. Show that love to yourself. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that episode of Kingdom Things Podcast. I prefaced Rabbi Yeshua, Jesus Christ's sermon in regards to how we fell out of alignment with universal orchestration and became obstinately attached to the ways of nature of our immediate understanding of ourselves and of reality, or our human operations, our planetary operations. Again, we're no longer demonizing the makings of us. So we're pulling these understandings of who we are closer to ourselves. We're studying them. We're feeling through. We're noticing the energies that arise and the thought patterns that arise when we think about the ways of nature of our humanism, or the paradigms that we've been living through, the way we've been doing family, the way we've been doing life, the way we've been doing career, the way we've been doing joy, the way we've been doing pleasure, the way we've been doing spirituality, the way we've been doing rearing our children, the way we've been doing being a parent, the way we've been doing being a mother, aunt, sister, brother, dad, nephew, uncle. We're introspecting, reflecting on these human paradigms, no longer disassociating with our humanism, in order to become more enlightened, or step into higher vibrational understandings of ourselves and in turn of reality, to align with universal understanding of ourselves and of reality. Hey y'all, these narcissistic paradigms, these ancestral narcissistic energies, or these obstinate attachment to tradition, or the way that we did things and the way that we thought, those are also universal limitless potential forces as well, that are calcified in denser energies. We evolve into more embodiment of our limitless potentials by facing these dense energies, illuminating them, or doing our shadow work to raise our bodies, our genome, our activation and frequential patterning, to expand our consciousness, and to expand our consciousness, as well as increase our DNA genome efficiency. I hope y'all enjoyed this installment of Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment. It's been so healing and therapeutic for me, from the shadow work that I've been doing for years to lead up to this installment, as well as a meditation and prayer that I did this morning, as well as conducting this installment. And I know watching it back is going to result in more wellness and more feelings of bliss and ease of the heart, mind, body, soul space. Ease of the heart, mind, body, soul space, and so it shall be. Before we roll into, we're going to do 2 episodes. We're going to end this installment of Oneness Connection Energetic Upliftment. We're going to end this installment of the Oneness Energetic Upliftment edition rendition with 2 episodes of Asia's animated series. Asia's animated series is a series in which I co-create with the Ancestral forces, universal forces. I channel my interdimensional, multidimensional experiences and healing energies and consciousness expansion, paradigms, understandings into the animated series to be enjoyable, uplifting content that mirrors our spiritual activation, spiritual awakening that we're currently experiencing. Asia's animated series stems from the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel. I'm also an author. At the beginning of my spiritual awakening journey about 3-4 years ago now, my soul was like, hey, Ashley, you don't remember who you are. Sit down, let us show us. Let us show you. We're going to channel books to you. That's why I channeled the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel. It is a 3-part book series. The first 2 parts are Asia's story. Asia is a teenage girl growing up in the New York City foster care system. She's catalyzed onto her spiritual awakening journey when she meets her twin flame Chase in the hallway of her school Manhattan Prep. A lot of other existential crises happen to her, which help her, assist her, or are the makings of her to evolve her into a higher vibrational frequential patterning embodiment of herself, to expand her consciousness and the way she perceives herself in order to manifest a reality that mirrors the more abundant, limitless perception of herself and what she has and what she has garnered through her experiences. The first 2 parts of the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel, again, are Asia's story. The first book is titled Coming Home, the Story of Asia. The second book is titled The Story of Asia, I'm Home. The third part of the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel is My Other Half. Y'all, I love this book. It's so prophetic and abundant and beautiful. The Twin Flame Journey Home, or the Divine Counterpart Kingdom Spouse Journey Home. 1 soul, 2 bodies, many lifetimes. They know they're supposed to co-create a love and a life together. But each lifetime, each paradigm as human beings of planet Earth, each consciousness, evolutionary status, energetic embodiment status of the human culture planet Earth says that their love can't work. They will co-create a love and a life together. Which love and which lifetime? This is the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel, now available in the Amazon bookstore. Again, this is where Asia's animated series stems from, the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel universe. If you're wanting to do physical copies for the stories, the first 2 parts, Asia's story, comes in 1 binding. And then the third part, My Other Half, comes in its own binding. Nonetheless, the 3 stories are $29.98 plus tax. If you're doing all digital downloads, it'll be 3 separate digital downloads for all 3 books, $29.97 plus tax. I'm also a home chef, y'all. I love to cook. It's one of my joys that I love to experience in humanism and my human. I've been doing this since I was a kid. I would go in the kitchen, get odds and ends, whatever was in the pantry, and cook something, y'all. Magic Meals with Ashley-Nicole Phillips. Whatever the ancestors tell me, or the self, or the soul, the oneness of all things, tells me to put in the pot, the pan, the baking dish. This is what we put into the pot, the pan, the baking dish. Y'all, we use mystery ingredients. We go grocery shopping. We get divine revelations. We laugh, we joke, we kiki. Sometimes what we cook is a good night. And sometimes it's like, You know, those nights when, I tell this joke like every episode, but it's so funny, so I'm going to tell it again. You know, those nights when you're a kid and, you know, your mom cooks something and then you're like, ooh, Mom, I don't like this. But did you eat? You don't like the food. You don't like what it tastes like, but did you eat? Sometimes we have those installments on Magic Meals. Like, you don't like what it tastes like, but did we eat though? Did we enjoy ourselves? Did we laugh at least once? Did we get divine revelations? Maybe, maybe not. But did we talk about, maybe, consciousness expanding content? Yeah, of course. Magic Meals with Ashley-Nicole Phillips is available to stream on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel to join the Magic Meals with Ashley-Nicole Phillips journey to a healed and balanced human culture of planet Earth. We talked about my music. I sang a little bit of my song. You Were Always, Infinite Creation, Ashley-Nicole Music. All my new projects are only available to stream on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, Ashley-Nicole Music, on YouTube, link below. I'm also going to link the song You Were Always Creation. I'll link it below in the reference, Ashley-Nicole Music content. I'll link that song. I'll link the song You Were Always Infinite Creation. It's a part of the album Goddess Things. That's not true. You Were Always Infinite Creation is a part of the album Evolution. The whole album, the whole album is available to stream Ashley-Nicole Music on YouTube. It's under playlist Evolution. I have a lot of projects over there, y'all, a lot of genres, a lot of healing frequencies. I recently started recording my sessions live. So subscribe Ashley-Nicole Music on YouTube to catch my live sessions, baby. I be in the spirit heavy when I'm creating music. A whole powwow session, baby, healing the inner space and channeling the healing energy and messages into the music. And the ancestral forces help me sing the songs, come up with the melodies, the lyrics, everything. I recently started recording my sessions live. The most recent project album that I co-created with Universal Forces, it's called A Story Worth Telling. You can stream the whole album as well as all of the live sessions that are available. Some nights, y'all, it got so mystical. My soul's like, hey, Ashley, we're not keeping this up. And the live didn't save. Like, it malfunctioned and the live didn't save. That happened like twice because, baby, we were getting into like some mystical things. And my soul was like, hey, Ashley, that was just for us. That was just for you and I. I was like, okay. Or the oneness of all things, or whoever, baby, stopped in live on the love. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoy my music. I hope it's soul activating, soul uplifting, soul satiating, brings you joy, happiness, entertainment, abundance. And last but certainly not least, you are able to book your one-on-one private powwow session below in the Kingdom Things podcast Healing Home Square portal. I channel video dissertation style of whatever energies and messages your soul, your ancestral lineage, or the oneness of all things wants you to experience in order to help knock through karmic knots or raise a vibration of your ancestral lineage in a way that you're able to perceive more of your limitless nature or have a widened consciousness expansion of your consciousness perception of yourself and of reality. Again, the Kingdom Things podcast Healing Home Square portal is linked below to book your private one-on-one powwow session. I love you. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love because you have to love yourself in the way in which you want your reality to love you back. Self-love is the best love because you are loving your true truths. Give that love to yourself first. Self-love is the best love because it helps you perceive, be, embody more of the limitless potentials in which you are. I'm going to see y'all later. Bye.
I thought I had awakened from the crypt.
If you read the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel, now available in the Amazon bookstore, you would know that in my dimensional universe of origins, I was incubated for the first 3 to 4 years of my life.
Asia, do you want to eat out for breakfast?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Are you okay?
Hey, my name is Asia, and I am an interdimensional being. I know. I just found out myself. Everything that I thought was my truth was a lie. I chose to continue this life because of the one thing that I know isn't a lie. Love.
You seem a bit shaken. I energetically sensed you were working through some things. I didn't pry too much. I wanted to respect your process.
Possible timeline outcomes. Below divine order. Highest timeline. Every energy I have encountered as a soul. So, not just this lifetime, was part of my process of becoming. I had to acknowledge myself or my process or every energy I have encountered in order to fully embrace my divine presence. And so it is, and so it is, with ease and grace. My journey of self-realization has been just that, a journey. Is just that, a journey. Now that I am embodying more of the energies of my existential truths, I am being aligned with opportunities that allow me to not only redefine my contributions to the planet by seeding my authentic soul energies into the planet, which contributes to a healthy and balanced human culture. I get to experience a more exuberant reality that reflects my authenticities.
Hello, Asia.
Hello.
Do you know what I am?
You're Melvin the Great.
Yes, you are correct. Can I show you something?
Show me something?
You are magic.
How did we...
Are you ready to see more?
Yeah, you see, I am. Sir Melvin the Great.
I felt so. But you have trepidations?
Yeah. I'm sure in your first, I don't know what you would call it, evolutionary cycle training day of transcending realities in your waking state, you had some trepidation too.
Are you kidding me? I was born a pro. Shall we transcend to another reality? Sounds like the storm is moving closer.
The moon?
Sure, dear Asia. If you presume this to be the moon it is.
I think I'm understanding. All is the mind. We project and create our reality with our minds. Allowing myself to embody these understandings and experience myself or these understandings in a greater way is the journey.
Precisely. You pick up rather quick for an earthling.
Thank you, Sir Melvin the Great. I have a knowing that this is just the beginning. Meeting and learning from the ancestors, my ancestors, your ancestors, I am being guided to utilize the wisdom I procure to create. I was gifted with soul knowings in regards to what I intended to create on a soul level or God level. Whenever God or creation requires a dimension or aspect in order to evolve and or rejuvenate, the aspect or dimension comes into being or creation, procreation. What am I procreating? A human culture with no death, no disease, no poverty, no famine, no war, world peace. Remember, Asia, you can't do it alone. You don't want to do it alone. As an infinite soul, I have had infinite relationships that subconsciously created dissonance within myself. Dissonance that kept me from realizing internal validation and feelings of worthiness of who I am in my honest truths, in my truest truths. Unconditional love, which made it difficult for me to be unconditionally loving to all things, all people. Let's be grateful. End with a celebratory note. Utilize this wisdom, soul divine alignment, to create harmony and peace instead of war and chaos. And so it is. My name is Asya, and I'm a teenage witch. Just kidding. I am a starseed. My story is much like humanity's story. I awakened to some pretty spectacular things about myself. Coming home, the story of Asya, followed by the story of Asya, I'm home. The book series that introduces the book. After returning from a day's trip, I have read my attempts letter. He speaks of my father releasing him from imprisonment and the fate of death. He pleads for us to run away together. This plea is one of which I make no stake to the cause. My other half, available in the Amazon bookstore. I feel as though I was born here on earth to find you. I was created to find my person. The Unconditional Love Literature Parcel, now available in the Amazon bookstore. I had awakened from the crypt. If you read the Unconditional Love Literature Parcel, now available in the Amazon bookstore, you would know that in my dimensional universe of origins, I was incubated for the first 3 to 4 years of my life.
Asya, do you want to eat out for breakfast?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Are you okay?
Hey, my name is Asya, and I am an interdimensional being. I know. I just found out myself. Everything that I thought was my truth was a lie. I chose to continue this life because of the one thing that I know isn't a lie. Love.
You seem a bit shaken. I energetically sensed you were working through some things. I didn't pry too much. I wanted to respect your process.
Possible timeline outcomes. Below divine order. Highest timeline. Every energy I have encountered as a soul. So, not just this lifetime, was part of my process of becoming. I had to acknowledge myself, or my process, or every energy I have encountered in order to fully embrace my divine presence. And so it is, with ease and grace. My journey of self-realization has been just that, a journey. Is just that, a journey. Now that I am embodying more of the energies of my existential truths, I am being aligned with opportunities that allow me to not only redefine my contributions to the planet by seeding my authentic soul energies into the planet, which contributes to a healthy and balanced human culture. I get to experience a more exuberant reality that reflects my authenticities.
Hello, Asya.
Hello.
Do you know what I am?
You're Melvin the Great.
Yes, you are correct. Can I show you something?
Show me something?
You are magic.
How did we...
Are you ready to see more?
Yeah, you see, I am. Sir Melvin the Great.
I felt so. But you have trepidations?
Yeah. I'm sure in your first, I don't know what you would call it, evolutionary cycle training day of transcending realities in your waking state, you had some trepidation too.
Are you kidding me? I was born a pro. Shall we transcend to another reality? Sounds like the storm is moving closer.
The moon?
Sure, dear Asya. If you presume this to be the moon it is.
I think I'm understanding. All is the mind. We project and create our reality with our minds. Allowing myself to embody these understandings and experience myself or these understandings in a greater way is the journey.
Precisely. You pick up rather quick for an earthling.
Thank you, Sir Melvin the Great. I have a knowing that this is just the beginning. Meeting and learning from the ancestors, my ancestors, your ancestors, I am being guided to utilize the wisdom I procure to create. I was gifted with soul knowings in regards to what I intended to create on a soul level or God level. Whenever God or creation requires a dimension or aspect in order to evolve and or rejuvenate, the aspect or dimension comes into being or creation, procreation. What am I procreating? A human culture with no death, no disease, no poverty, no famine, no war, world peace. Remember, Asya, you can't do it alone. You don't want to do it alone. As an infinite soul, I have had infinite relationships that subconsciously created dissonance within myself. Dissonance that kept me from realizing internal validation and feelings of worthiness of who I am in my honest truths, in my truest truths. Unconditional love, which made it difficult for me to be unconditionally loving to all things, all people. Let's be grateful. End with a celebratory note. Utilize this wisdom, soul divine alignment, to create harmony and peace instead of war and chaos. And so it is. My name is Asya, and I'm a teenage witch. Just kidding. I am a starseed. My story is much like humanity's story. I awakened to some pretty spectacular things about myself. Coming home, the story of Asya, followed by the story of Asya, I'm Home. The book series that introduces the book. After a day's trip, I have read my attempts letter. He speaks of my father releasing him from imprisonment and the fate of death. He pleads for us to run away together. This plea is one of which I make no state to decline. My other half, available in the Amazon bookstore. I feel as though I was born here on Earth to find you. I was created to find my person, the unconditional love. Literature Parcel, now available in the Amazon bookstore.
And I will